maybe a bit of a, but so why they were launched in the first place? Like what type of problem were you originally? Because you said WPBakery was one of the first ones. What type of problem were you trying to solve back then?
This is a really good question, because I was actually like, before joining, I was thinking about looking. We will probably touch the huge market of page builders, and the problem is actually the key answer there. So if we are looking back at WordPress, those 11 years ago, more than 11 years ago, WordPress was very different. So it was more of a blogging platform rather than something that you would use to create advanced websites. Nevertheless, that was and still is, in my opinion, the best, actually, the tool on the market to create websites, no matter if you're talking about blog, landing page, business, or e-commerce website. And the problem is that the default interface was not made basically to support that anything beyond blogging. But nevertheless, people were looking into that, how to use that technology. Yeah, so to some extent, what many are now doing, like touching around AI and trying to understand how to go around it. Basically, page builders introduced that option to go beyond the traditional blogging. So allow anyone to create a more complex layouts.
Okay, so it's made, as you said, yeah, it's true. Like in fact, I think some people still look at WordPress as if it's a blogging platform, like the core way it's designed. But yeah, with page builders, of course, you have people. I mean, it was still possible before to create your own landing page, but you had to have some basic development knowledge. And with page builders, you could do it with more like with mouse and drag and drop and stuff like that. And you didn't necessarily need to know how to develop, right?
Yeah, you actually, like, okay, if we're looking at the typical website of how you create a website, let's say back then, you need to know HTML, CSS, and then PHP. So WordPress took some part of it from that, but you had to learn shortcodes and then look for solutions, and then it was the shortcode hell, basically, to create the layout. You had to combine it using the shortcodes, and this is where page builders came into play. So replacing that shortcode
Good.
text block.
Good. Now, a very hot question. Now, in WordPress core, we have the block editor, the full site editing. So, how does a page builder nowadays like differ from what is available in WordPress core since the introduction of Gutenberg, which we basically became the block editor and full site editing?
Yeah. So, how many years now Gutenberg?
Good question. Since version 5, I know it was version 5. I don't know.
I'm trying to remember which WordCamp it was when the Gutenberg was announced. I was there at present listening to Matt's talk.
Released in December 2018. So it's
It's,
been almost 8 years now.
I think
Well,
it
next
was
year will be 8 years.
Nashville, probably, maybe, or
Could be, yes, could be.
yeah. So
Interesting.
yeah, I think, like, at that moment, it's like why I had to refer to that. When the talk was over, like even during the talk, we were sitting together with Michael there, and I'm just looking around, like Matt is announcing Gutenberg, and I'm looking around and I see that people are starting to look for me, look for other people from the page builder industry. Uh, like with those questioning looks. After the talk, when we were going out, like everyone wanted to come over and ask, "Oh, so what do you think? What do you think?" Yeah. So nothing really changed much from that point. I mean, definitely, like, even though there were maybe some questions, okay, what will happen? Yeah, if it's a threat to page builders, I think we're long past that moment when we saw that, okay, block editor is going to replace certain page builders or all page builders. This is not how it works. I mean, we are looking at the choice that people have. So some may love BMW, others Mercedes, Audi, and so on. So this is how I see actually the market of page builders, including Gutenberg, including block editor, because at the essence there's that's the same thing. What maybe is interesting is maybe we will get at some point to the solution where, the same that happens with browsers, the same that happens with search engines. Whenever you are setting up a new environment, is it like a device or whatever, you have the choice to make as a user, not to have that monopoly. I mean, that's a pretty much crazy idea, but imagine the world where you would, like, whenever you start a WordPress site, you need to basically choose which editor you would like to use. By the default, it's like either it's a block editor, Gutenberg, is it WPBakery, is it Elementor? So the same thing that basically happens when you have to choose the default search engine within your browser.
I like the way you look at it. By the way, someone from your team just posted. I had comment. Yeah, so Gutenberg was announced early 2017 and released in WordPress 5 in December 2018. I like the way you look at it, that it's kind of like another competitor and you have options. In fact, I've never really actually thought about this, but now that you are mentioning it, it's true. Because I remember when Gutenberg was announced, like everyone was like, "Oh, is the death of page builders? Is the death of teams? Is the death?" And quite frankly, actually, in fact, this brings me to the next question. I was looking at the page builder section or industry in the WordPress, and actually, I realized there are like more than 20 mainstream generic page builders. And if you had to count the uh, niche ones, like those which are just for landing pages or just, there are actually almost 100 page builders around. So definitely there is still a need for these things because yes, the block editor has been around now, as we've seen, since 2018. Maybe the first years was a bit clunky, but yeah, let's say it's been around for like in a stable state for 5 years or a bit more. So definitely, yeah, there is still a demand for these things. No, as in like,
But the market is actually growing as well. I
yeah,
mean, okay, there are talks that that WordPress is slowing down and other competitors are there, but still we are at the point where we have more and more WordPress websites. So there is a place for good solutions. And what do I mean by good solutions? Solutions that actually solve problems. This is one of it's like we got to that problem thing. There are many page builders, but
a lot.
there is a question: what problem do they solve? So there are specific problems that some page builders address, and then there are plenty of what I don't like about what in general at some point is the problem within the community is like your product is made as an alternative to another product. So it's like, hey, I made that page builder because it is, in my opinion, better than this page builder. It's what the exact business problem are you solving with it? It's like you're building the marketing on top of other product. You're trying to do that at least, and we had experience like that, and I saw some other prominent page builders have problems like that. That some competition comes in. So and yeah, at some point it feels that, hey, I don't know what kind of product should I create. I just need to create a page builder. But yeah, and it's like every new player is telling like, hey, like, this is the best page builder we have built, yeah, the WordPress have so far. But then you start to review it, you start to measure performance and other things, and it it looks completely different from what it was initially like. presented. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting what you're saying. It's very interesting indeed. Like you see a lot of the fact that we are seeing. First of all, the fact that you see competition coming up, even in the page builder industry, it means that there's a demand for it. Otherwise, people wouldn't invest time, even if it's just an MVP, to build a page. I think even to create an MVP for a page builder, it takes a lot of resources because it's a big product. So yeah, the fact that you're still seeing competition and an increase in the number of websites using page builders, clearly there is a demand for these things. In fact, you also mentioned, it's a good point because it's one of my questions. In fact, you also mentioned performance. Performance is always a hot topic within a page builder. There are often say, oh, there's a lot of bloats. Like, can you explain like how? I mean, of course, if you're going to use a page builder, if you're going to use any other plugin, quite frankly, you need resources to run that solution. But can you maybe explain and clarify how, like, when you run a well-developed page builder, actually, and of course, if you have a good setup, it doesn't have an impact on performance, or does it? How does it work exactly?
Uh, yeah, performance, as you said, it's like it's a hot topic, and
Yes,
a
yes.
lot of actually that's another thing. A lot of new players are coming into the market telling, "Hey, we are like the best performant page builder," and then at some point it's like, "Oh, okay, well, it's not like that." There is an interesting resource. It's called WP Page Builder Fight Club, where
Okay.
yeah, it's a bit of a fun thing. It's a I even don't know who created that, but yeah, there are like page builders that being used to recreate the same page and basically being on the same environment. And there you can actually see, well, first of all, some of those claimed like new next generation page builders, they are exactly like not that fast as compared to uh, old page builders now, but the ones that are on the market, like we are. That's one thing, and yeah, they're sometimes slower. But there is another thing, that the difference is actually not that big. At some point, let's say that we introduce something, we find the way how to. Working on performance is an ongoing thing. Yeah, it's something that never stops. So at some point, you see that okay, we introduce something that make us few milliseconds faster. Then some of the competitors maybe do something, and now they're considered a few milliseconds faster. Well, those milliseconds, actually, to be fair, they don't change much. Yeah, the difference is insignificant. It all comes down to how you use page builders. So you need to, if you are, and we are talking that okay, there are regular users, and they are using that the way they've been teach to use it. Then there are professionals, and I actually see that usually professionals are complaining about the performance, but at the same time, you need to know how to use the tool. So if I'm really good at using WPBakery, I can create a really high performing site. So there is nothing about performance. But you can give me like the one that you claim is extremely fast page builder, and I'm not maybe that familiar with it. And yeah, well, I will use it in a bit different way, and the result can be slower.
Can you give us a practical example? Because you said it really depends on how you use the page builder. So it's like, so even if you don't know how to use, let's say case in point, WP Bakery, you can still create a slow website. So can you give us a practical example of what users could do that could potentially harm the performance of the website, and what can they do in general using page builders to make sure that at least there's no such a big impact on the performance of a website?
Hey, so, yeah, well, first, you don't use several page builders at the same time. It
Yeah, of
sounds
course.
funny. I mean, it sounds funny, but I have seen 2 and 3 different page builders on the same website. So
I
this is
know it
why.
happens the same. Yeah, with security plugins, it happens the same with firewalls. It happens with everyone. So yes, it's
So yeah, I'm
unfortunate.
still like reminding everyone to not to do that. Uh, yeah. So think about the layout. So what is usually the problem? You get an access to a powerful tool. So what do you want to do next? It's like you want to try everything. It's like, okay, I have 50 different content elements available, maybe 100 different content elements available. I want to add everything on my website. Well, this is how you actually kill the performance of the website. And then comes the content optimization, the next thing. Yeah, so how much content and what kind of content you want to have on your website. It's like a typical thing. One of the those support tickets that I have somewhere in my mind historic experience. So there was a client. We have that practice that you need to spend time at support, no matter what your position is. There is often the case when Michael, as a CEO, still like sitting there solving customer problems. You need to know your customer. And yeah, so there were a client and complaining that, hey, I have that problem on my website. The page is really slow. So I'm looking at, and there is a gallery. So gallery around 50 plus images, photos. So every photo takes around 10 megabytes. So zero optimization, just uploaded there. And well, apparently, like maybe, the site is being taken over after a while, and it's like, okay, who am I going to blame for such a page and that page being slow? Usually that all comes to either page builders or hosting. So
Yes. Now, performance is a bit of a funny thing now that you're mentioning it, because I see it quite often as well. Because we have the activity lock plugin, and people say, like, does it take performance? Like, first of all, I've also seen this discussion of like how many plugins should you have installed on your website, and it's funny because people are like, especially those who are not maybe technical and they don't understand the subject, it's like they're looking for a number. You should have 20, 30, 40. There is no number. The question is like, the way I see it, what do you need to do with your website? What functionality would you like to add? Now, it's very important to point out that there's difference between two plugins of the same type based on how they are written. If you look, I'm talking about our plugin, of course, when we started Activity Lock 12, 13 years ago, of course, through the years we had some performance issues because we're still learning. But nowadays, 13 years later, I'm not saying it's perfect, but of course, we improved it so much because we have 13 years of hands-on experience dealing with this thing, how to store events. So if you had to compare the version of today versus the one of 6-7 years ago, it's way better in terms of performance. However, one must
technologies also.
Exactly, yeah. However, like, it's funny because people pretend to run all type of functionality on a website and go for the cheapest, less resource hosting. It's like you cannot imagine running a page builder, activity log solution, e-commerce, something else, and trying to run that on a sharing hosting. Of course, it's going to be slow because you don't have the resources to run it. So if you want a certain amount of functionality on your website, that should determine the number of plugins. Actually, there isn't a number. It's just like, okay, if you need something, make sure you install it. Make sure you choose a good plugin. Make sure you use a reliable plugin. But of course, you also need the fuel to power it. So you cannot run 3-4 big plugins that change your website completely and expect it to run on some $2 a month cheap hosting, because it won't run and you're going to have problems. So at least make sure when it comes to memory, processor, bandwidth, you have the right amount of resources to power that website.
This is actually what I'm reminding my students. I'm also part-time lecturer at the university.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, exactly. This is what I tell to my students. Your hosting monthly bill cannot be lower than your mobile phone bill. Because
that's a good one.
Yeah, because it's very strange thing. Like we are ready to pay, I don't know, like $30 for mobile phones to play games and have fun. But when we talk about the hosting environment, something that powers your business, it's you instantly want to go for the $5 hosting and expect it to perform as if it's like a dedicated cloud.
Yes, it's funny. It's a good point you're mentioning this, because it's the same with us. I see it a lot, even with our plugins. And I see other people, like, they complain, even in general, like, oh, I've seen some agencies like, oh, if you had to buy every plugin, then of course it's going to be expensive. However, especially if you're a shop, in the old days where you had the actual shop, people, of course, used to spend money to make the shop look good. Otherwise, if the shop doesn't look good, people are not coming in. Nowadays, many businesses don't have a shop, but they have a website. So yes, you are. It's the website, especially if you are an online business, is the front cover of your business. It's what represents you online. So I don't know why people find it difficult. I'm not saying you should spend a fortune, but yes, you should invest in it. If you want, you should invest and make sure you have a fast website, have a good looking website, and on a good user experience, because this is the shop. And I people only realize this how important when you explain it, like when you compare it to, like, imagine you want to buy these pair of shoes, and there are two shops next to each other selling the same pair of shoes at the same price. But one of the shop is like all clean, all modern design, and the other one is like old and dirty. Obviously, you're going to the new shop, and this is the same with websites. If you're going to, it's your shop, it's how the word perceives your business. So if it's a slow website, it's not well maintained, maybe there are errors, whatever, then of course people are not going to buy from you. So again, you don't need to spend a fortune, but as you said, some people, it's funny because some people actually um, they spend $3-4 a day on a coffee, but spending every day, but spending, if you look at a plugin, for example, like to FA plugin, where it costs, if you have to calculate by the number of users, where it costs you, I don't know, maybe 10 cents per user per month, they find it expensive. And yet they spend $5 a day on a coffee, which is, it's quite, yeah, it's just a perception, basically, how people
But
get these
I
things.
think the problem is that at some point, internet, no, but web design made it people to think so. If we're looking at the whole idea that, hey, you need to go online because it's way cheaper also, not talking even about that everyone is online. So it's a lot of tools are being advertised like, hey, it's almost free, it's free, start free, and so on and so on, and people are used to that. This is why it is for some developers it is hard to explain to potential clients like, hey, why this e-commerce website should cost more, because it's like it's always free, yeah, and there are students that can create it for free, yeah, or like for $100. So that's people are getting spoiled.
Yes, the price battle is a bit hard,
And
as you
AI
said.
doesn't help that. So,
Of course, of course. Um, for users, developers, and agencies, maybe there are different markets, but what should they look for when choosing a page builder? Like, are there like a number of features or particular functionality that is essential for a page builder? What are like the criteria when trying to score? You are evaluating 4 or 5 page builders. What would you be looking for yourself?
for me, I would say it all comes down to the ability to quickly create a layout, the foundation. Yeah, not everything, but the foundation, and then how easy it is to customize it. Because when we talk about developers, I rarely see high quality project where developer is just taking whatever that's been given by the page builder and not adding anything. So what makes what makes any developer stand out is what's that cherry on top. Yeah. So how do you make your project unique? Especially now when there and before we had plenty of like thousands of templates. Yeah. So everyone can create a website. So how to make your website better? You make it different. Yeah. So you make it stand out. So how easy it is to customize. So that's how easy can you create? Can you change the content elements that are available? How easy is to create new content elements? And that's for the developers. For the clients, it's actually when someone is asking who is our audience. So for us, for WPBakery, our audience are developers. So because you can create layouts faster, you can create custom elements, and basically you want to give your clients an interface that allows them to easily edit things. So for the end client, it all comes down to easily editing content and not being able to ruin it to a certain extent. So it's still a tool for the developers, for the agencies, to help them to provide mechanism how their clients can edit content.
Interesting. So when choosing a page builder and of course a theme, because the page builder is not a theme, you still need a theme that you customize with the page builder.
It's
And
actually
you're like,
interesting. Think it.
I was going to mention. So
you entered
yeah,
very gray area. It's and this is what, for example, I believe that we stand out. So we don't force using that. There are a lot of page builders that come with their own themes. So this is probably what has been the biggest differentiator for us throughout the years. So we complement the theme. The initial idea when WPBakery was developed, it was to complement the theme. So Michael was actually a theme author. So he was developing WordPress themes and at that point selling them on ThemeForest. And he wanted to have that better interface for managing content throughout those themes. So it was developed as an extension to complement any theme. Yeah, so we don't force to use a specific theme. So developers can choose their own environment, and that has been one of the biggest success for the WPBakery.
interesting. So technically, I can choose any theme and choose the bakery to work on top of it. I mean,
The theme need to be
and
the theme need to be developed according to WordPress standards. So we honor WordPress codex. So
again,
yeah.
which is usually a wild west. It depends from whom you buy the theme and which theme you buy. Because yeah,
Majority
interesting.
of themes actually follow the codex.
Interesting. I've seen no in general, to be honest, because we see it with plugins as well, especially Activity Lock. We had a few integrations with different plugins, and yeah, of course, the plugin is keeping a log of whatever's happening. So we do all the time like correlate with other plugins and stuff. And yeah, in general, to be honest, most people do follow the WordPress standards, but you'd be surprised sometimes you've seen some crazy shortcuts or something like that to try to avoid something like who's doing this. So, and I think things like that will definitely create problems for page builders like the Baker and then others. That's why ideally when you buy the theme, you need to as well
Yeah, you need to check it.
choose something, to check it and buy something from it. So you don't have not just a bakery. So one thing people should consider when choosing a page builder is also thinking about vendor login, right? Because as like not being locked in by a vendor. So in theory, right now, if you have the bakery and you choose a team and you've used it to build your own team, technically speaking, if you want to install WPBakery, you can still, you have all the shortcodes and stuff, but you can still keep running the same websites, right?
That was actually one of the narratives by one of the competitors mentioning about us. But generally speaking, it's you do have that vendor lock in to some extent, no matter what you do. It's no
Indeed,
matter
yeah.
the product, you still have some problems to migrate to other products. So it's like, let's choose something completely different. You decided to go from Hrefs to SEMrush. Yeah. SEMrush topic is now hot. Yeah, it's being acquired by Adobe.
Exactly. Yeah.
But or from SEMrush, you want to go to Hrefs, yeah, or HubSpot or whatever. So I mean, the same problems.
It's always, yes, indeed. No, it's very interesting. So for someone starting a new website project today, what they should consider to decide if they should go for a third-party page builder such as WPBakery or using WordPress tools or developing their own team? Like what are the criteria to say, okay, I'm going this way, or choosing the other solution?
So ideally, you should look for a developer. Yeah. So that would be the path that I would suggest. But the only reason you may not choose to have a developer working on your website or an agency, is that if you are really short of the budget. So and or maybe you want to just quickly prove the hypothesis, yeah, to see if that the business idea will work out. If that's the case, then okay, then look for the cheapest solution possible. Uh, Depending, again, it depends
Of
on
course, yeah.
the goals that you want, the features that you want to have, the layout. So maybe look for a theme, ready to use theme that has some page builder bundled. If you're happy with the layout, just go with it.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
think it
that's
also
that.
depends. Yeah, I think it also depends on your capabilities as well. Because if you are a developer yourself, it's one thing, but uh, if you're completely new, most probably you might need some help.
You don't
It's
usually buy car parts and go to the car repair shop
true,
and tell
true.
that, hey, yeah, take this and then change it. Yeah, so professionals should actually suggest you which ones to choose.
I think sometimes I see that as a problem in WordPress, as a problem and not. Uh, it's the same with security, as in like WordPress made it very easy for anyone to have a website. However, most people have no experience, no idea what it takes. So, because there's a big difference between okay, building a website today and maintaining a website for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and that's why, unfortunately, also that's why WordPress was it's still quite unfortunately known for yeah, it's insecure platform. It's not actually an insecure platform. It's just that you have a lot of people who have no experience of maintaining a website, and they use outdated software, they use weak passwords, they don't use 2FA, so of course websites are getting hacked. And this reminds me of what you were saying. You don't usually buy the car parts and go to the mechanic. You go to the mechanic, they find out what's wrong because they're professional, and then they get the parts. And with WordPress, unfortunately, get out of that situation. People are not professional. They get the parts, they build it themselves. Then it breaks. It's like, oh, like WordPress is not good. Actually, it's not that WordPress is not good. It's just you need some experience. Because I previous to my WordPress career, I used to be a systems engineer for a big software company. Especially as a website grows and the number of visitors grows and the functionality grows. It's not just about user and password. It takes much more to maintain a website for 5, 10, 15 years and keeping it secure and keeping it running. It's not just about click, click, click.
I
And
think
as the same,
when we talk about security, it's I think 80% of all security issues basically that happen are not because of the technology, but because
no,
of human error, social engineering,
yes,
those kind of things. So
yes,
even larger. So technologies are usually not the ones to blame for the security issues.
yeah. No, I mean, if you look at WordPress per se, there are quite a few reports. Earlier on this year, there was a report co-published from Sukuri and Pestek because they have firewalls and they can see actually what traffic is going on. The two most common issues for WordPress websites getting hacked by far are outdated software and credentials issues, which are both user issues. Human problem, as in like we don't keep software updated, and we use weak passwords, we share passwords, we don't use 2FA. So yeah, and both of those issues can easily be rectified with some technology. So technology is there. But yeah, it's funny. Page builders aren't unique to WordPress. Joomla, Drupal, Typo3, even like online platforms like Wix and Shopify have their own page builders. Is it kind of like, are there issues with these type of platforms, or is it kind of like a natural evolution of how people want to create websites, going for a more like, visual, easier way to do it? Again, which amplifies this problem. What we're saying, you're bringing people with no experience, and you give them the opportunity, which is nice, but of course it comes with a number of consequences. You're bringing people who have no experience of what it takes to maintain a website, and they can build their own website.
Yeah. So other platforms are they do have to some extent the same problems. So the thing is that the WordPress is just very popular, yeah, due to the way it is built, due to the community. But if you compare the platforms, they face the same issues. So and why there are a lot of page builders in WordPress? Because the WordPress market is huge. If you look on other other platforms, the number of page builders available there is usually smaller. Yeah, if it allows to have the third-party solutions, because there are many platforms that are basically, this is where you can talk about the lock-in. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So it's just the market is smaller, but this is why there are not that many page builders, but there still are, and they are basically solving the same problem.
Uh, do you think people have this expectation that by using a page builder, you can just build the website right away without any technical knowledge, like within just a few minutes? I mean, because the reality is some page builders are easier to use than others, but you still need to have some basic idea of what's happening, right?
Yeah, so we are spoiled. Yeah? So we want to get things done as fast as possible. So yeah, to again, you can do something on your own. You can do it fast. The quality, though, it's decent. It's good, but it's not maybe perfect. Yeah, and the problem is about, the question is, what are your business goals and who is your competition? So in general, like, all you need to do is to have a website, like let's say e-commerce store, that is a bit better and a bit faster than your closest competitor to win it. So this is the case. If you are in a market where you are good to go with quickly creating a website on your own, and you don't need a professional, then completely fine. Yeah. But if you are in the high competition market, then you should consider taking an agency to help you to create a professional website. With or without page builder, this is something that agencies should define. I mean, even though, like, here we are talking about custom solution versus out of the box solution. Page builders are out of the box solution. Many agencies, oh, we don't use page builders. Well, I mean, you use your own solution, which is to some extent a page builder, which is just not public.
Yeah, just built by them, used internally. But yes, yes.
So the idea is the same, the tech stack.
Yes, in fact, I've worked with agencies in the past for our websites, and while they don't install an off-the-shelf page builder, they just have what they call a team. But you can see like some things they're obvious through the different websites developed by them. They have some sort of basic framework, basic tech stack, which is a page builder, and they adopt it to the different websites they manage, which is true. So
So
at the end of the day, yeah,
we uncovered the ugly truth. Yeah. So everyone is
exactly. No,
using page builder. Everyone.
exactly. Yes, it makes life. I mean, whether we like it or not, it makes life easier. And as you said it yourself, even with WPBakery, even though you are making it, the idea is to lower the entry barrier. Most of your users are still developers. I mean, they don't have to use it because they know how to write code, but clearly using a page builder makes your life much easier and you can move much faster, right?
Finish the project and go to the next one. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. We cannot, of course, mention page builders, talk about websites, and not mention AI. I mean, I've seen quite a few different AI solutions from different page builders. What is the role of AI in page builders, and how are you seeing this developing, basically?
So AI is a game changer. Yeah. So no matter like, you may not like it, you may love it. It will impact. It's AI in general is a different type of technology. It's like electricity to some extent. So general purpose technology, how it's called. So it will impact all the industries. Page builder is, of course, no exception. The question is how the page builders apply, how they take advantage of AI. We love to provide AI together with the page builder in terms that it should work for developers. Again, ability to create custom elements using AI to assist you. I believe that this is the way. So to still focus on professionals when it comes to page builders and developers. So what I see is, of course, that like, hey, with this page builder, our new AI, you can create the website without the developer. And then the question is, of course, like, hey, why developers don't like our page builder? Because you are telling that developers are not needed. It's like, but the problem is the same, that page builders, they allow, without AI, they allow anyone to create a website. Page builders with AI allow anyone to create a website. So faster, even less coding knowledge, solving some of the, let's say, usability things, but not to the fullest. So we come we get to the same problem that people maybe without the web design literacy, I would call it like that, create a website. And it doesn't matter if they use page builder with or without AI. So the result is good website, but maybe not that professional.
Interesting. So, what are the most common use cases? Because I've seen, of course, page builders using AI to generate text, maybe to generate new blocks, to generate new sections. What are the most common use cases for AI and page builders?
Now, the typical ones are, of course, to generate content, which is obvious, yeah. Then it comes to generate layout, yeah. But then what I like is what I mentioned. You mentioned developing those custom elements for page builders. That's the thing where I would say we need to look into. Again, not everyone support that, because you need to teach AI how to do that. Yeah.
Of course.
Then personalization at scale. So how AI can basically help, and it's not about using page builder, it's the combination of the product, the end product of the page builder, the website, and AI working together to provide benefit for the visitors of the website. Yeah, so personalization at scale. Those are the things that where we need to actually look how to benefit from AI.
Interesting. You were involved in the building of one of the earliest page builders in WordPress, WPBakery. So you have a lot of knowledge and experience in this industry. Looking 5 years ahead, what do you imagine like modern website building will be like?
Oh, it's yeah. It's
I think it's difficult to say with AI. It's difficult to say what will be there next year, let alone 5 years.
exactly, yeah. So the technologies are changing a lot. But yeah, well, for example, I guess the boom around AI will settle a bit down. We already hear people talking like, hey, by the way, did you see that those websites created by Lovable, yeah, which is like huge AI startup, they to some extent all look the same, yeah. So which means that, okay, it seems that it's not that of a magic. Apparently automatizations. So page builders will probably focus more about on the automatization, maybe supporting supporting the business process, not being just one entity as a website itself. Data analysis, data collection, learning. Basically, we are still talking everything AI. I think that boom, it's not going to end anywhere. We will reach the peak probably somewhere around 2030. Yeah. Till
So
that
it's more,
moment, I think it's going to be all about AI.
yeah. But clearly, definitely the human factor, the human creativity will still
Human oversight, yeah.
be,
So that's,
yeah,
you cannot
always.
take that away. It's
Exactly.
AI is not able to understand the context, the way
Exactly.
how we understand it. So this
Yeah.
is why, like, everyone is talking about oversight.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. It was really interesting. Raitis, have we missed something there? Would you like to mention something else before we end this episode?
Uh, I mean, you mentioned that your Black Friday is starting. Our Black
Yes.
Friday is starting as well, of
Nice.
course. And we focus on developers. So we, during Black Friday, we of course focus on those multi-site licenses. But yeah, maybe an interesting thing. We recently launched an addition, which is optional for our clients, because one of the benefits of WPBakery has always been lifetime license, and we still honor that. Uh, but we also launched what is called Support Plus subscription, which gives access people uh, to additional cloud services, including WPBakery AI, and also include various add-ons that we also own. So with that, maybe that's something that's going also to be a part of the deal. But an interesting thing, maybe for other product people to consider, what we did is that we introduced the loyalty discount. So the longer you stay actually with the subscription, the larger the discount you're getting. So when
Nice.
everyone is like giving a huge discount on year one and then charging their clients on the second and third year, that's, like, typical tactics. So we decided to uh, go another way around.
The
So
other way around.
every
It's
yeah,
interesting.
so the longer you stay with us, the more we love our loyal customers, our loyal clients. So of course we want to give something more. So we give a larger discount every year. So I mean, with that, the idea is to keep that in mind for someone looking into loyalty programs.
Of course. No, it's a very interesting concept. I've never heard of it. Very interesting. Thank you very much, Raitis. For those who would like to learn more, can go to wpbakery.com. Where can people reach out to you or get in touch with you?
Uh, Facebook, LinkedIn. Probably,
Mhm.
I'm trying to be more active on LinkedIn recently. Not that much on X, even though recently I'm starting to receiving a lot of beeping on my phone. It's like X notifications. But I would say LinkedIn is the best place. And of course, yeah, during WordCamps. So come
Nice.
over, say hi. I'm always happy to meet people. You will be probably going to Netherlands. I have to
Yes, of course. At the end of this
skip
month.
this
Yes.
one, but yeah, the CloudFest in March, then WordCamp Asia.
Yeah.
So
So I'll see you in March for sure at CloudFest, unless I see you at some other WordCamp. So yeah, we'll see you
yeah,
around for sure.
but yeah, WordCamp Asia. Do you have plans for the WordCamp Asia?
Not yet. It's a bit timing is as in like the time of the year. Also, it takes a bit longer to travel. We'll see. We're still evaluating. I would love to go because, of course, it's a new emerging market, and it's nice to meet. There are lots. Actually, I was impressed whenever I go to WordCamp Europe or other WordCamps that I meet people from Asia. Oh, I'm always impressed by the size of some of the agencies that are there, like hundreds and thousands of employees. Like, wow, those are big agencies. So I'd love to visit, of course, but nothing planned yet. I would love to, but nothing planned yet. We'll see.
Yeah, there are rumors that that could be, the largest WordCamp ever in
I
Mumbai.
wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Thanks a lot, Tritus. Thanks for coming. It was really interesting. Just to repeat, for anyone who wants more information about WP Bakery, you can go to wpbakery.com. A quick reminder, as Rice just said, I will be at WordCamp Netherlands next week. So next week we won't be streaming any episode, and we'll see you the week after. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Rice, and we'll see you at
Thank
some
you.
WordCamp.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks. Bye bye.
Thank